All right. So, welcome everybody to another Artisan Spotlight, hosted by the Razor Company, and we are very excited. We have Kyle from Summer Break Soaps on tonight, and I am accompanied by these two amazing gentlemen. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I am Brandon Hay of Brandon Shaves, and now officially part of the BBS Live crew.
Nice.
Excellent. Congratulations on that. Nice addition to the team. And I am J-Mac from the Canadian Mafia Show, and every Friday night we do these Artisan Spotlights here at TRC. If you're catching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single spotlight.
Nice. Yes. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to do here, Kyle. So we have pretty much, we go through, ask you, a slew of questions, and also towards the end we will go through any questions from the audience that we'll go through, and then kind of wrap it up after there. So, and then it's also to us ourselves, we have our questions to go through. So, but yeah, so. Go ahead, Kyle. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the company.
So my name's Kyle. I'm the founder of Summer Break Soaps, which I run with my wife. We started 5.5 years ago now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Fairly small company. We're both educators. That's kind of where the theme comes from. So yeah.
Okay. Nice. So that's where we get lots of this school type of naming and everything like that for the soaps and stuff.
Yep. Some of them a little, more obvious, like Prom King. Others are a little bit looser, like Cannonball or Daydream. But yeah, it's all somewhat tied to education somehow. It's kind of our brand identity, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No, that's awesome. We tried to resonate with it. I was trying to figure it out. It kind of had a hint. But I didn't want to try and do much research and spoil it beforehand because I wanted to, let you tell the story. So, but yeah, so you said it's been about 5 years you guys have been doing this.
Yep.
So, what got you into the game?
Well, like many people, when I found the community, I just kind of really ran with it. It all started with, again, like so many of us, getting really tired of paying a lot of money for Mach 3 blades. And so I asked my grandma one time if she had any of my grandpa's old shaving stuff, and she did. And it was a lot of stuff, which was pretty cool. So she gave me a whole bunch of razors, some really gross-looking old brushes, and I kind of dove in from there. And so when I, entered the hobby, I found the forums, and I just loved it so much. So I tried all different subsets of the hobby. I tried collecting Gillette razors. I tried restoring vintage brushes. And then eventually I just landed on soap making. And kind of how my wife and I ended up on soap making is she's really into makeup and cosmetics and stuff. And so I kind of sold it to her as, hey, we could do this together. It'll be fun. And so that's kind of how we got started in it. And then, yeah, I don't know what convinced me at some point that I thought I should make soap for other people too. I should open a business. I think it was probably just a random idea of I'm never going to use all this soap I'm making, so probably should sell some of it. And then kind of went from there.
Nice. Go ahead, J-Mac.
So you mentioned you're a wet shaver. So what's your favorite razors? What do you like? Do you like more vintage, premium?
I actually go back and forth. Right now I've kind of got a rotation where I switch between a modern razor and a vintage razor. My favorite right now is the Chiseled Face Legacy. Just love that razor. Also a big fan of the Blackbird, especially the TI version. And then on the vintage side, an Aristocrat number 16 is probably my favorite of my vintage razors.
Very nice.
Very
nice. So I lived in Omaha for like 5 years.
Oh, really?
Aren't you in Nebraska?
Yeah, I'm in Nebraska and Kearney.
Nice.
So, smack dab in the middle of the state. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
You've lived everywhere, haven't you, Brandon?
I mean, I kind of moved around. I've been here in Maine since 2002. But I did enjoy my Omaha time.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool city.
Yep.
Nice. So, when you guys get going into, you guys got started up and everything like that. So, what prompted you to, I mean, besides being, like you said, in education, but carrying that into the soaps? Like, did you have anything else like in mind when you were developing it, or had this always been kind of the focus, what you wanted to do for your brand?
I think where it came from is something really early when I started mixing scents was the quest for scents that reminded me of something. And so that nostalgia element kind of rose to the top for me. And so there was a couple competing themes, I think, in my head as I was considering opening a business of some kind. One being education, obviously on my mind because we both work in education. And the other being like farm related because I grew up on a farm. And so I kind of thought about those for a while and then ended up going education because both my wife and I could connect with that one. And it just seemed like there was so many possibilities with that theming.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And of course, you were in the middle of Nebraska. Of course, you were on a farm.
Yeah. Only makes sense.
Go ahead, J-Mac. What do you got?
Well, drawing on your theme, I'm just going to take a wild guess here. So drawing on your theme, you're an educator and you base some of your sense on that. I'm going to guess just off the bat, just for my own curiosity, without knowing the scent notes, Prom King. Would that be a cologne-based scent?
Yeah. That's perfect. Prom King's the only dupe scent that I have, and it's a JPG Le Male dupe.
Oh. The goodie.
Can't go wrong.
Yep, you were right on the nose.
No.
That's a good.
Literally. Smell you. It's really good.
Yeah, JPG knows their stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So how did you come up with your first soap base? I mean, I'm sure it's taken different iterations since then, but how did you come up with your first take?
A couple things. I just posted the other day on a forum about this, but there's a very seminal piece of like wet shaving lore from I think it's on one of the old forums, but it's where the guy from the LA Shaving Soap Company, when he was first starting it, he kind of posts his base and his quest to replicate Martin de Condre. And so reading that, like his process of going through. And then there's also the book that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but written by Carrie from Soap Commander, that is really does a great job of walking you through basic shave soap recipes and how to experiment and add and make them your own. So I started with those for reference and then further explored from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've heard a lot of people have read the one from Soap Commander. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Making shaving soap or making great shaving soap or something like that. But yeah, it's a good, easy read, great place to start.
Nice.
So, of course, you yourself are a wet shaver. So, is your wife a wet shaver too?
Yeah. I wouldn't say she's real avid into it or anything, but she does borrow my razors and use them.
Borrow.
Yeah.
That'd be like my wife. That borrow becomes into mine.
Yeah. She was really sneaky about it, but usually she'll forget to take them out of the shower and put them back on the razor stand. So that's really the only reason I even know.
I'm not the only one.
She does not use our soap though. She still
really
uses she still uses canned foam. So yeah.
Yeah. Women are funny. Some women are funny like that.
Yeah.
I've tried to convert mine. I've tried and tried and tried to the point I've even shaved her legs for her with proper lather and a nice razor. She goes, "Oh wow, those results are really awesome." I'm thinking, thank God, I finally got her. And then she's like, "Yeah, but I just can't be bothered to do all that." So back to the canned foam and the cartridges.
Too much work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I make I make my wife's lathers for her. She
Nice.
does love the software, but I have to make the lather for her.
Yeah, that's a good way to buy more shaving soap that way. 'Cause you'd probably go through it a lot faster.
Hey, it's not just me. This is for
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's why you need to buy
Love
two of everything, dear.
Yeah.
This one's mine. This one's yours.
That's right.
Yep.
Go ahead, J-Mac. What do you got, bud?
So what's been some of the obstacles with getting summer break soaps up and running, and how have you overcome any of those obstacles, if you've had it?
The biggest obstacle early was not the making the soap. It was all the business side of everything. I was absolutely not prepared for all the papers you have to file and the tax stuff. And I was in way over my head. I think I ended up pushing the launch of the company back 4 or 5 months just because I was like, whoa, what is all this stuff you got to do? Probably the other obstacle early on was, I mean, if you think back 5.5 years ago, how different the market and how different new companies entering the scene were at that time. My original labels were, I think 3.5 inches big, so a huge white border on the tubs. They were done by me, who, especially at that time, had no graphical design skills, no understanding of graphical design. So I guess realizing that early and finding the right person to work with that could really bring my brand to life, which I'll probably give him credit at several times in here, but his Instagram is Wise One. He truly brought my brand to life with the brand identity and everything with his art and the things he does. So
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about shaving. I mean, it's such a, it's like shave soap is a tangible, consumable we put on our face, and and a lot of us, we want what's in the tub, but also equally important, right, with social media,
Mhm.
what's
Yeah.
on that label. And in many cases, I know myself and a lot of the audience, we'll buy something just based on the label
Yeah.
alone, and then it's like, oh, what were the scent notes on that again? Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, but that label's fire. I'm buying anyway.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and 5 years ago, I think that was beginning to be the case 5 years ago, but you could get away with a crappier label 5 years ago, but now absolutely not. You couldn't start with the things I started with. I would have never gone anywhere if I had tried to do that now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the hobby's
Mhm.
really has changed in the last 5 years, especially.
Mhm.
Yeah, with that when it comes to artwork. That's like, it's almost like, it's kind of, I hate to say it, but it's almost like artwork is almost becoming like the focal point, and then
Mhm.
the product is I don't want to say it's not as important, but by the same token, it's still like that. That artwork's still
Mhm.
fire, or
It
people are
does.
just gonna keep scrolling, right?
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
and I
food.
mean,
It's like
yeah.
food. You see it before you taste it. If it looks like crap,
Mhm.
it's automatically not going to taste as good as it should for you.
Mhm. Yeah. And I mean, most bases that the artisans put out are so good. There might be minor differences, but even the crappiest of the artisan soap bases is still excellent.
Mhm.
So it really does, the art and the scent come through as being incredibly important when everybody's got such a quality product, really.
No question.
That's what's going to set everything apart. So yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead, Brandon. What you got?
So a couple of simple questions for you. Bowl lather or face lather?
Face
And
lather.
then, okay, good. And then number 2, your favorite extra sharp blade and your favorite daily driver.
Good question. And I'm very anti-bowl lather. Just don't like the bowl lather for some reason. And I think that comes from when at one point I had collected, like probably again many people knew in the hobby, so many samples. And usually I lather my samples, I dig out some, smear it in the bowl, and then it drives me crazy to scrub every last little bit of soap out of the bowl. And so
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do that daily, those of you who bowl lather.
Not me.
The key for that is to still tub load, but
Yeah.
then and
Uh-huh.
then just build it in the bowl instead of like scooping and smushing.
Yeah.
Because
You just
I
can't
used to face
do that
lather all
with
the
samples.
Yeah.
except for samples. Yeah, because I used to face lather all the time too until I realized that face lathering is actually give me brush burn, and then I was like,
Oh, that makes sense. That's a good reason to switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I just really hate bull lathering samples specifically.
Yeah.
We all
As far as blades go, my favorite blade's a pole silver,
Mm.
but it's not
nice.
Goody.
not by a long shot, I guess. Right now, I usually anytime I order from somewhere, I throw in just a couple random blade tucks. A lot of times, I try things I've never tried before,
Yeah.
and so I kind of just have a container of random blades. And so when I need a new blade, most of the time I just reach in there and grab a random blade to try it out. So yeah, other than having Pole Silver's my favorite, Nauset's probably my second. The Gillette Nauset's probably my second favorite. Other than that, I'm kind of whatever.
Excellent choices.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. It's been my mission to get the community converted over to Wismets. So,
Oh,
which
think I
replaced
have some.
which replaced
Which is the
Pole
Pole
Silver.
Silver.
So,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
their Pole
okay.
Silvers.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
been
right.
feeling my goal in life, and it's
Great blade.
yeah,
I
they're
stocked
great.
up on so many Pole Silvers that I'll have those forever. I'll probably never even need any more.
Nice.
Yep.
Smart man. Smart man.
Yeah. So one question is that because I know Crystal and I have done this before too, or we were going to do this, was to actually teach a class and for wet shavers, like just to give. It never ended up happening because there was a fire at the
Mhm.
library that we were going to host it at. But anyway, so being as an educator,
Mhm.
would you ever do something like that? Like if there were, like, let's say, I want to say high schoolers or anything like that, or I don't know
Mhm.
what grade you guys teach, but
Mhm.
given the opportunity ever to, like, maybe host something like that or do something
Mhm.
for like a certain amount of people, or teenagers,
Mhm.
that want to get into, possibly show them the way, so to speak.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
he
I
teaches kindergarten, and he's already got a advanced straight razor shaving class. So
yeah,
look out
yeah,
for that,
yeah. It's already taken
Carney.
care of.
Look out for that.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I'd probably do something like that. And I work with middle and high school kids. I work at we call it a non-traditional school, but it'd be like an alternative school. So it's for kids who have struggled in other environments.
Yeah.
And I've
Bless
actually
you.
thought about this a lot. Yeah, thank you. It's enjoyable and fun and interesting, depending on the day, which one of those applies best.
I bet.
Yeah.
But like I've been at this school for 3 years, and my first year I tried really, really hard to hide the fact that I ran a shaving soap company from the kids because I was like, they'll think this is weird. I don't really want to have to explain what shaving soap is. But they found out. I don't even know how they found out. I think maybe the principal, who likes to give me a hard time too, was making fun of me, and then they asked questions. But they were really curious. It was actually kind of fun, and so now I use it with just the business side of things to talk about experiences and stuff. So I do think that would be cool, and I think helping, especially the students I work with, find a community like this could really be beneficial for a lot of them. A positive community for the most part, connections. So yeah, maybe sometime. I mean, I'm guessing some parents might frown on giving razor blades and stuff out to kids, but otherwise, there's probably
Yeah.
some good parts of it.
Yeah. Reason also too, I bring that up because there's a lot of people, wet shavers that we talk to, that we meet and that come in the community where they were never taught how to
Yeah.
shave. They
Yep.
basically learned from the commercials or TV or now YouTube or anything. Like
Hmm.
they didn't have somebody to show them what
Hmm.
to do, and how to shave or anything like that. And it's just generations that are coming up, that never really knew what that was, or they don't have
Hmm.
somebody, a father figure or anything in their life to show them, or to teach them. And it's just something that I constantly think about too. So
No, that makes a lot of sense. And again, I'm thinking of my students and the number of my students who don't have a father or father figure in their life to teach them that for sure.
Yeah.
Last year, we actually had a student who had a real scraggly looking beard and had an interview, and one of the other teachers showed him how to shave. And part of me was kind of like, dang it, that was my job. Like, I
Should have been
probably should have
me.
done that.
yeah.
I know a little bit about this.
Yeah, it's always fun bringing new people into the community whenever you have a
Uh-huh.
chance. Also, a young person, that's it just I don't know. It's just very uplifting. You kind of get
Mhm.
that hint of what it's like when you see a kid learn, witness them learning and stuff. So
For sure.
it's yeah, it's pretty awesome. So but yeah, but go ahead, J Mac. What do you got, bud?
Yeah, just to expand on that. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I like the thought of that, Angelo. We should expand on that and look into doing some educational stuff around that and get some people together, because I like that, because especially for the younger people, everything is on the digital sphere nowadays, right? Like everybody's online. If we can make something a little bit more beneficial for people, right? And then, and yeah, I like that. Teach people, a little bit
Mhm.
of self-care, right? To take some time
Mhm.
in life and just to be a part of something and to better themselves. Yeah, should talk on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
For
Also,
sure.
but shaving saves you money.
Yes,
Nope.
that is a bonus
It
as well.
doesn't.
Yeah, until you
It
get
may
in
save
this
some people
season.
money. It doesn't
Yeah.
save me money.
Yes. We
saves
all
me.
thought it would save us money, but
It
not so much.
saves me money from
That's good.
spending on other hobbies, because I have no
That's
money to
true.
spend on
Yeah.
other hobbies. So,
Good point.
but no. So my real question though is quality control. How do you ensure the quality of your products? Do you have like a
Mhm.
tester group that you send stuff out to, or do you do all that in house, or how do you go about doing that?
Mostly in-house. I have a few, like a small group that I will send stuff to occasionally, especially newer stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, usually I keep a lot of stuff and use it. And unlike a lot, I shouldn't say unlike, but I'm a pretty avid wet shaving hobbyist still. I don't know if all artisans are still as into the community and shave as much with their products and stuff as I probably do, but yeah, I'd say for the most part, I'm my quality control. But I do also have some people that I use and help me out, especially with new stuff.
And awesome. So to expand on that, then being a hobbyist, are you into other brands as well, or do you mostly just use your own stuff nowadays?
I don't buy near as much as I did even like 2 or 3 years ago, but I definitely still buy some stuff, and I think I probably have about equal the same amount of summer break stuff and then everything else combined. So yeah, there's a few brands that I do pick up most of their stuff.
Excellent, excellent.
So
Yeah.
let's talk fragrances.
Hmm.
So how do you do your fragrancing? I mean, do you go with the standard fragrance wheel, or do you go willy nilly? Do you have your own kind of method?
Hmm. It's kind of interesting, especially when you think of like my naming convention. Sometimes I will start with the fragrance wheel and kind of work through, I think this will be an interesting scent. And then when I get somewhere, I think, well, what school name could this potentially match? Or how could I bring this into my branding? Other times it's the other way, though, where I pick an idea
Mm-hmm.
and then I try to build a scent that matches the idea.
Yeah.
So I kind of work both ways, and it just depends. I'd say I'm trying to think of the current scents that I have. It's probably about half and half of each of those.
Nice.
Hmm.
So like wood shop, for
Hmm.
example.
Yeah.
So
So woodshop would definitely be an example of one. I had the name woodshop, and I worked backwards to try to find a scent that wasn't just wood, but would remind you of walking through the industrial technology part of your high school. So bringing in those other scents like motor oil and smelling the coffee on your teacher and trying to bring in the whole experience rather than
Yeah,
just
wood.
wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
Because
And
that's what it is. It's an experience. It's an experience
hmm
when you shave with it. It should be the whole experience. You can't just take
hmm
one little bitty
hmm
thing and make that your fragrance. It has to have a lot of different
yeah.
kind of elements to it. And that's
Especially with
cool.
a woody scent like that. Like I feel like there's a lot of wood scents out there if you want wood. So really, that one took. I bet have had that in my notebook for almost 4 years. That was probably one of the earlier ideas that I just could never get it to be special, I guess, until finally last year I released it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
yeah, I
Hmm.
know there's 2 cents that right around back to school time, which you see, supplies and stuff start coming into stores. Like around 4th of July now. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
two things that me and Crystal that we do when we start seeing the school supplies is the smell of fresh like notebooks or
Mm-hmm.
books,
Yeah.
that smell,
Mm-hmm.
and then the smell of fresh box of crayons.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh, we wait all year for that. Like people right now are freaking out because it's pumpkin spice season,
Yeah.
but for us, it's school supplies, fresh box
Crayons
of
and
crayons.
paper.
Uh-huh.
I know it's
Well,
weird, but
we all
you
know
just pick up a
Angelo's.
box of crayons and just, oh my gosh.
Boy.
But that takes you to that place, that
Mm-hmm.
nostalgia, you know, childhood.
Well,
Yeah.
we know.
What it was like.
Yeah.
I'm talking about,
We know your signature scent when it comes out. It's paper and crayons. We call it
Yeah.
colorful.
Yeah. I'll have to remember that.
Called
Paper and crayon.
colorful.
Angelo, when the teacher printed out all of the the handouts and stuff for you, did you go and you suck those right up?
yes,
Good man.
love it. Absolutely love it. Libraries, oh my gosh. Grab an old book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's your favorite flavor of crayon?
Purple.
You sure you weren't the Marines?
No, my dad was Army though, but could say something. But yeah, no, fresh. I'm talking about the 64 counts. Yeah, with the little sharpener in the back. Yeah, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But,
Yeah. I know exactly the smell you're talking about. That makes me think of like second grade.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, see,
Mhm.
that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But
Wheels are turning
So-
now.
yeah, see, you're welcome.
Yep.
So if there was you guys been you said it's been you guys been doing it for 5 years now.
Mhm.
If there was anything at the beginning, let's say if you were to do differently,
Mhm.
what would that have been?
Probably just to know a little bit more about what I was getting into, again, especially with that business stuff. I probably would have spent, because I did my original graphic design just trying to save money, really. But I probably would have spent more time either further refining my own labels or biting the bullet and paying somebody who actually knows what they're doing right away in those early stages. I think we would have had a lot better launch into this world. Yeah, that's probably the big thing that's changed, is just going a little slower. But again, thinking 5 years ago, how many shaving soap companies were trying to get their start all at the same time. And so it really was a mad dash of catching the attention. Or this guy launched a month ago, I got to get launched before this other guy launches in 2 months because I know he's coming. And so it was kind of a race. But I think it would have been better to go slower and be more prepared.
Yeah, we're in such a renaissance of wet shaving now.
Mhm.
It's such a beautiful time to be a wet shaver because there's
Yeah.
so much out there. Razor hardware, software, blades. I mean, there's so much stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all good, which is
Yes.
even better. Like it's crazy. I've been in this for 9 years. I remember some of the brands from back then and some of the stuff. I remember, at the time that kind of blowing your mind, right? And then, and then you look at the stuff that kind of blows your mind now, and you're like, oh, we've come a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
But even the stuff back then was great. It's just now exceptional.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I found early on, and anybody else who's tried to make shaving soap. It is really pretty easy to make shaving soap. It's hard to make great shaving soap. It really takes creativity or make special, something unique to you. But a pretty basic recipe will get you a pretty decent, serviceable shaving soap.
That's way better than anything in a can.
Yes, it's going to beat a can. It's going to beat anything you can find at Walmart. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that people's wheels are turning too, and the comments are talking about scratch and sniff labels, coloring books. Yeah. Scratch and sniff stickers for shaving soap scents.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
I don't think really scratch and sniff would work for most of us because most of us don't have a shaving company around us where we can go smell it. So we're still buying off the cuff.
No, but
like most of us are.
But
except for you, Angelo, you bastard.
But bear with me. Bear with me. What if what if artisans, instead of sending out samples, which we all know most of us have a bajillion samples and they just never get used, what if they could send out scratch and sniff cards with their soap scents? Then you can scratch it, sniff it, and it's like, I'd like to try that scent instead of
I'm in.
soap.
I'm in.
Yeah, I wonder. No idea what the process is to get those things made, but that would be pretty cool.
Somebody write that down.
Write that down.
I mean, you could take your whole catalog and put it into scratch and sniffs.
Yeah,
and people could buy those for whatever it costs you to make. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yep.
Look, I better trademark that. How do you patent something?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, that would be cool though, because I know myself, I have a bajillion samples, and to truth be told, I'm probably never gonna get through like a third of them. Like just it's not gonna happen. And then I'll go to them, and they all like sit kind of in the same area, and then I go to sniff one. It's like, oh, that smells great. It's like that one smells like that one. That one smells like that one. The writing wore off this bag. I can't read that.
Yeah. Yep.
I love it. Go ahead, Brandon. What you got?
All right. So I know that you enjoy your soaps, but can you give me 2 soap bases that you really enjoy? And I'm sure there's 50.
So after, there's plenty. The first 2, so I'll just go with the first 2 that popped into my mind. So the first one pops into my mind because if I look at my shaving soap shelf in the other room over there, Declaration Grooming is by far the most I have other than mine. And his bases have always been. Yes, yep. So Milksteak would be the best, but I mean, even going back to Icarus and before, like his bases have always just been phenomenal. So yeah, Milksteak I'd say is up there, and then the Mammoth Tusk base is just excellent. So those 2
tried that.
Yeah, huge fan.
I've tried Declaration Grooming. Declaration Grooming, and then I've tried Chicago Grooming and Oleo Soap Works, which obviously Vita is making those for him. But I've not tried the new version of that. So I guess I got to put that one on my radar too, because I'm sure I don't have enough soap.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what do you use for like a personal like ethos? So, what is one type of philosophy that you get yourself, that you follow, that you abide by?
Stole my question, Angelo.
Oh, sorry. I read the wrong one. You can take mine.
You guys have questions? I'm going off the cuff here.
That's funny. So my training, I always say I'm a teacher because that's a lot easier, but my actual training is as a school psychologist. And so the class that I teach to my students is called social skills. And so I preach constantly, be kind. And so really, I mean, that's probably my personal ethos. And so like one thing that's really, really important to me is if you order from my website, I'm going to write you a personalized note.
Nice.
Now, do a lot of those notes probably look the same? Sure. But I'm going to write something because, I know when I open a package and somebody's wrote even just thanks for the order and a signature, that I think that's really cool. And I'm more likely to order from them versus just somebody throwing the receipt in the box. So
just a personal touch.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Here's a scratch sticker.
Yeah. There's a scratch and sniff sticker. Man, that would be perfect for my branding too. Just stick one of those right on there, some kind of childish looking thing like you'd get on your paper from school. And so just that, and in my interactions with customers and stuff, I try to always be kind, as I imagine most business people probably do, because otherwise you're probably not going to be in business long. But donating to charities when people ask, I really like, or different groups and gatherings that get together, I try to always be a part of those if I'm asked, just to support different people and different groups and everything.
Nice.
Okay, Jamie.
The personal notes are great. Like I read all the ones I get for sure. I save most of them too. I have a basket in the kitchen. I save them all in too. If an artisan take the time to write a note, I'm going to take the time to keep it. And like Angelo said, that'd be a great place to put some scratch and sniff Snickers too. It's
it really would.
really appreciate the support. If you like this, here's a couple more.
Yeah, try this out. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's
So my
gotta
question,
be the thing.
what do you do for fun outside of the wet shaving hobby?
So most of the time I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, so spending time with them is probably most of my free time.
Yeah.
I also play video games. Not so much this time of year because I'm just busy with school and stuff. I've also, before I got into wet shaving, my previous hobby was beer making, home brewing.
Oh, nice.
And so I picked that back up last December or so. There was a good sale on some stuff for Black Friday, I think. So I've gotten back into home brewing a little bit too. So that's probably what I spend most of my time doing.
Nice. Beer base coming up, perhaps, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, here we go. If
Yeah.
you were going to make a shave soap based on beer, what hop would you use?
That is a good question.
See, Brandon
And I don't
doesn't
know how
questions. He's got it.
I'm gonna be honest, I have tried to make a hop scented soap. When we opened like my original 2 ideas. The first one was Teacher's Pet, which is an apple scent that's been discontinued. And there was a second scent that is a hop based scent. So more than 5.5 years, I've been working on a hop scent. I cannot, for the life of me, get it right. Because the hops just seem to overpower everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could find, just perfect oils from every hop, probably Willamette is probably my favorite hop.
It's a nice,
Although
smooth one, not too
it
piney.
But from when I left the home brewing hobby 4 years ago, well, probably more than that, 5 years ago to now, that hobby has just changed completely too. Like there's probably hundreds more hop varieties that exist now than when I was really into it 5 years ago. So I'm still just scratching the surface of a lot of that.
It's like the IPA renaissance right
Yes.
now. I mean,
Yeah.
not just IPAs, but I mean, obviously IPAs have exploded in the
It's
last
exploded,
like 5
yes.
years. So
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right, let's get into some
Audience questions?
audience questions and see what we got. I can reach to the phone here.
I must say, though, Brandon, just off the cuff, great questions tonight.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
without
man.
having the list of the questions, man, you're killing it.
I'm a loner, a rebel.
I like them. I wasn't prepared to talk about hops and beer making and stuff.
That's good. Glad we could expand your repertoire of questions.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
So that's another thing. Yeah, so here you go. Homebrew scratch and snips.
Yeah. There we go.
Keep throwing that out there. Okay, Art Shaves. He's got 2 here. When you first started out, did you reach out to other soap makers? If so, were they helpful? And then the second question, what subject grade do you teach? And thank you for your service to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Art.
So yes, I did reach out to some other soap makers, and honestly, they were really helpful. That was probably one of my favorite parts about this community is, and some of these other guys, like for example, Cody from Noble Otter, he opened Noble Otter about 10 months before we opened Summer Break Soaps, and he was telling me tips and tricks, things to do, things to avoid. He didn't have to do that. I mean, at the time, he was still very small, very obviously now Noble Otter's exploded and is hugely popular, but he didn't have to do that. There was also a long since kind of defunct company now, but west of Olympia or Storybook Soapworks, those guys were both incredibly helpful to me. In fact, I didn't even realize it when I opened Summer Break Soaps. Storybook Soapworks kind of went by SBS as their acronym. So I came along and stole the acronym SBS. And one of his original scents was Elcium, which was a lavender, vanilla, peppermint scent. And one of my original scents was Brain Break, which was a lavender, vanilla, peppermint scent. And I didn't even notice that. So this guy was helping me, being incredibly kind, and here I was stealing his acronym and releasing a direct competitor to his scent without even realizing it. And he was still so awesome.
Oopsie.
So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
And then the
oh,
other part of the question, like I said, I teach social skills for upper grades.
Which is awesome.
yeah.
Yes.
And that's the crazy thing about this hobby is, I mean, we hear this time and time again from artisans we have on here, but how willing like competitors are to help out other competitors, like almost to the point like it's not like competition. It's just like a big conglomerate of people just all doing their thing, and it's really nice to see. It's refreshing instead of like a cutthroat business, right? It's like you want help making the soap? Yeah, no, I don't think so. Figure it out on your own. I guess. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just,
really,
it's crazy how much we've grown over the last, say, 10 years, but we still are this much of the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
that
like
is crazy.
nothing of the market. So, there's still room to grow. That's why, we all push it to everyone else. That's why we do this. That's why we reach out to other people to try and get them into it. This is the way that we should be shaving that Gillette ruined a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see the camaraderie in this community. I think it's awesome. I love it.
And I haven't even mentioned that I do make brushes too. I just don't do it very often. I mostly do it in the summer when I have free time. But like Steven from Dogwood Handcrafts has been hugely helpful for that. And I mean, he's one of the best in the business. So I've learned a lot from him, and I really appreciate that. So again, just another example of people being awesome.
He sent me some really hot murder jerky, and I loved it that day, but it really hurt me the next day.
Yeah, I refuse to eat that because I know it's not going to go well.
I'll tell you what, it's a tough one.
Steven Care, they're awesome people.
Yeah, but I've seen you eat some pretty wild things, Brandon. I don't think the murder jerky would do much to you. So you handle the one chip challenge like a champ. So
it's true. Let me see what else we got here. So, okay, what is your best-selling scent?
Probably long-term, it's Cannonball, which is, I don't know if you guys know anything about Cannonball, but it's a chlorine-scented soap. It's probably the one we're most known for. It's chlorine and it's a fruity chlorine scent. And I think it has synthetic menthol. It was one of the earlier synthetic menthol scents. And I think it just sells because it's unique. And then everybody that shaves with it says, this reminds me of being a kid. Because it reminds you of the pool. And yeah. And so that's probably the main one. Valedictorian would be the next, probably kind of our flagship scent now, and it's more of a tobacco type scent.
Nice.
There you go, Jamie.
I dig that. That's a legal middle name.
So let me see here. Now you mentioned like as far as like during the summertime is, so that's how often when you're turning brushes is during the so pretty much during the summertime.
I try to get some done during the school year, but it takes a while to build up enough for a drop, and then usually when it gets to be winter, it's just too cold. My garage isn't heated enough to make me want to stand outside and do brushes.
Summertime, you got that 10 free weeks to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Beautiful
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
My wife's a teacher. My mother was a teacher too.
Nice.
Growing up, but.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So okay, so Jeff shaves. How long does it take for you to produce a soap? So like start to finish.
So if you mean like creating a new scent and stuff, usually months to years, depending on how long or how hard it is for me to nail the perfect scent. Sometimes I put them together and I think, wow, this is awesome. In a month or two, well, probably more like 2 months, but other times it does take years. But as far as making a soap, from start to finish, I let them sit for a few weeks, so 3 to 4 weeks usually.
Nice.
Yeah, right on. All right, so
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to soap making than people think. Like, and that seems to be the trend with a lot of artisans. Like, it takes quite a while to develop a scent, like from initial idea to, to finished product. Like, it's not like oh, this is a great idea for a scent, and then you go out to your lab or your room, wherever you do it in, and it's like, oh, soap scent, here you go. Yeah, no, it just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. And sometimes you have the great scent and you put it in soap and it just doesn't come through, or something overpowers something else and it's just not very good. So sometimes it takes adjusting things particularly for the soap version of it, or making some tweaks to try to get it back to where you want it.
Yeah.
So citrus wise, what is your favorite citrus to build a scent around?
Probably just orange. Keep it. Although I like bergamot a lot. Bergamot really isn't I don't feature bergamot ever, but it's just such a great.
It is the
adds so
fragrance
much
community.
Yeah.
Bergamot.
Yeah,
it is in everything.
It really is.
It's a way to
I wouldn't have
brighten up and
understood
kind of
that.
bring up any scent that is out there.
Yeah. So if I'm featuring it, probably orange, but otherwise I use bergamot a lot. Probably second only to cedar. I seem to always just love to put cedar in stuff. I noticed as I was looking at my different scents, but
yeah, I think bergamot is like the Frank's Red Hot of the wet shaving community.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Put in with everything. It'll help anything.
It does. It works so well.
Ian says he loves the graffiti style shirt. Awesome, by the way. I dig that. Also, thank you for what you do as educators, but also his wife is in her 20th year of teaching.
That's awesome.
Oh,
nice.
Right on, Ian.
It's awesome, man.
So Paul 2966 asks, how much time is involved when you're getting to decide on a scent? Kind of the same realms as far as like making the soap, I guess, but actually deciding on.
And for this one too, it kind of depends on the time of the year for me too. So like right now, I have a few scents in progress, but I'm also not working on them daily or even weekly. Sometimes I'm just mix some stuff up, let it sit for a little while, let's see how it comes together. Because I'm not trying to get anything released. Or over the summer or just any time I have some downtime, I do work a lot harder on trying to get things where I want them. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
totally.
Let me see here. Millie Mel wants to know, do you have any of said brushes around to show off?
I actually don't think I do.
Of course he has that. It's the brush hoe.
Yeah.
That's right. Mills dusting off the wallet.
Mills the brush hoe.
He wants to see the brushes.
Gotta have them all.
Yeah, check out the Instagram. You'll find them all there. I don't have anything down here, I don't think.
Nice. There you go, Mel. Go check out the Instagram, bud.
And, with brushes too, that's a market that's changed so much. I try to keep my brushes pretty reasonably priced too for artisan brushes. It's been really kind of weird seeing all the Chinese manufacturers come in replicating the artisan styles in the brushes, and so I think that's really changed the brush market a lot too.
Yeah,
and the razor market as well.
Yeah, in the razor market as well. Yep.
Yeah, we've definitely
taken the designs off of $300 razors and then replicating those for less than $100.
Yeah. And then because we've ripped on them a few times in our show, just on that too. And the common denominator too is like, it's because I see it in the groups all the time too, right? Like somebody will buy one of those razors and they'll say, "Oh man, I'm glad I bought this instead of paying $300 or $200 for the one it was modeled after, because this razor doesn't shave that good." And it's like, of course it doesn't shave that good because it's not the same razor.
Because you didn't buy the real thing.
Yeah, it looks the same, but it's not the same in any way, shape, or form. You just did that artisan a huge disservice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it, again, how it's changed is looking back, they always did that, but it was clones of Merkers or mules or something. And, you know, that's still not a fan of that, but it doesn't bother me as much as now it's a clone of a Blackland or a clone of a Wolfman, like, or with the brushes, clone of these small makers that's money out of
and kind
their
of
pocket.
and kind of the elite things, you know, and they're just stealing these things and you know, producing them for. They look the same. I guarantee you, they don't
They're not
perform the same.
yeah.
That's what they always say. I'm like, you know, you've made it when you've been duped. So
Yes,
Yeah,
that is true.
you know,
I mean,
you pay big time when
you
they're
produce
watching
something
you.
great.
Yeah.
That's true. I still don't dig it though, like, especially with the community aspect of our just of our niche, right? Because we develop all these relationships with artisans such as yourself, and we want to support those artisans, and then it just, you know, then you see other companies come in, you know, from overseas and just dupe a bunch of stuff and just throw it on the market, and it's just all about money. They could care less. You know, they'll send their stuff out to a few big YouTubers who are going to shill it in front of 4,000 or 5,000 people, and
for sure.
you know, there's just no camaraderie. It's all about money at that point, and that just
It really hurts the hobby, I think.
It does. Yeah.
Speaking of camaraderie, I mean, that's why shameless plug here for the Canadian Mafia Discord. If you ever have a chance to get on there, it is a happening place for sure. So there's artists, the same thing. There you go. There's artisans that are in there that all, you know, talk amongst them. They're doing the exact same thing another one's doing. You know, so you have soap makers, brush makers, I mean, razor makers and stuff. People that are in the community as well, and it's just, you know, a place where another area where people can hang out and talk. But they're same thing. Like, you know, like you have a question or anything like that, or if there's something that you're working on, then you can ask them directly, and it's pretty awesome to see that type of medium being out there as well for people. So
I am biased because it's my Discord, but it is a happening spot, and like almost every night, legit, like we have voice chats in there, and more often than not, there's artisans in there, like, you know, anybody from the community, like say if Carve or Aylesworth are in there, it's like, hey Chris, how do you do this or do that, and they'll just tell you. So
I'm getting drug kicking and screaming into Discord. I just resisted it for so long. I don't know why, but
yeah, there's a lot of gamers that use Discord for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
I felt like an old man going in there, like just didn't understand what's happening, but I'm finally trying to figure it out.
What do I do?
Yeah. Yes.
We're more than happy to help you out if you get on the Discord. We're more than happy to walk you through.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jason NYC asked, what soap company, non-soap company, would you ever love to do a collaboration with in the future?
So what, soap company and non-soap company? Okay.
Please say Crayola.
That Crayola does sound really good. So soap company, the first thing that comes to mind is something we actually talked about fairly early when both of us got started with Southern Witchcrafts.
Nice.
Just again, being that Stephen and Courtney are both such awesome people.
Yep.
But just I think it's such a weird intersection between, or could be a cool, weird intersection between the summer breaks, kind of bright and fun, and Southern Witchcrafts is dark. And so, I feel like we could do something really, really cool. We talked about it really early on, and then both got busy, so I should bring that up again.
One of the funnest times in school is Halloween time. So trick-or-treating, people dressing up, stuff like that, costumes.
Yeah, that is a really good idea.
Man, there's a lot happening in this tonight, boy.
Yeah, you guys got all kinds of good ideas popping in my head. One of my favorite collaborations too was Porch Drinks. I don't know if you guys know much about that one, but Katie's Bubbles and I'm gonna say it wrong and get crap for it, but Châtillon Luxe, Châtillon Lou. I don't remember how you say it. Sean's company, but they did a collaboration where they both used the same scent notes and made their own version of the scent. And I just always thought that was really cool to see the differences between, even with the same scent notes, the different interpretations of it. So I'd love to do maybe something like that with Southern Witchcrafts. It'd probably be really interesting.
That would be
cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Non-soap company, though, that's a lot harder. Hmm.
And the cool thing, if you did that with Southern Witchcraft, would be especially if you pick some scents that are going to kind of run the gamut, right? So some brighter scents,
Yeah.
some brighter scent notes, and some darker scent notes.
Yeah.
And then just see how that would all
Mm-hmm.
all change from you to them. Like yours might end up being like nice and bright, like you're saying earlier,
Mm-hmm.
or yours might end up being darker, and theirs could end up
Yeah,
being
that'd be
bright.
really interesting. It'd really throw you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. I don't know about non-soap company though. Crayola does sound fun, or some like very obviously educational brand would be cool. I guess I can't think of anybody besides Crayola right off the top of my head, but
How about
that would be pretty cool.
what if you designed a label for your soap and you wanted to have someone else pour and turn a brush for you to go along with that release?
Mhm.
Who would that be? And it can't be you.
Probably I'm gonna go with Rob, or maybe Peter from Wolf Whiskers. Those are probably those two along with Steven are probably my favorite three brush makers. I think they're about the most talented guys out there.
Cool.
Nice. That would be sweet to see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Take care, man. Says Elmer's glue.
Elmer's. Elmer's. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Soap that smells like Elmer's glue and those razors.
Yeah. So
I'd buy it.
William RR, he says summer break soaps. He says hello. He's a newbie. Yes. Cannonball was really cool. Pool water, and it does any effect of the soap. So I think he's talking about the scent, like of the chlorine scent.
Mhm.
But he said he loves it regardless. But so like with menthol, sometimes it can be overpowering. So do you get that? I haven't smelt it myself yet.
Mhm.
So
Well, he
kinda
said
in the blind.
he was using synthetic, which would have
Yeah,
no
but it's
scent.
synthetic in that one.
Yep. That's what I
haven't used. Yeah, I haven't used regular menthol for anything just because of that. I tried it, and you can't make a good scent come through with the menthol unless it's a peppermint or a spearmint or those scents.
Something that already has mint in it that it can complement.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it just kind of takes on a different, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Lee Nunes says go big red.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then take care, man. Todd, he says he has some old samples of Picture Day Scent and History 101 that he loves. What was the inspiration behind those?
So History 101 was one of our original 3 cents, and it was definitely my probably my first attempt to make a quote unquote more manly scent, a leather, a just darker, smokier scent. And it was one that I made the scent and then was like, oh crap, what do I call this? And to me, it reminded me of like the Old West, and I landed on the name History 101, like introduction to history kind of was the idea. Picture Day was sort of the same way. I went through a phase where barbershop scents were my jam. And so I made my own barbershop, and then I got to the end and I'll call it Picture Day. Like, you got to look nice for your pictures, so kind of matches barbershop theme. So yeah, that's where those two came from.
That's funny.
Nice. I love a good barbershop. Yeah. So that's pretty much we got caught up there. Back to you guys. J Mac, do you have anything, my brother?
Yeah, what's the most rewarding thing you find about running summer break soaps?
Yeah, I mean, the community is the obvious answer. That's really cool. But it's been incredibly cool to see, like, talk with people literally on the other side of the world that are using my things I made here in my little basement workshop here in Nebraska, and then there's people literally on the other side of the world using those products. So having my products available all over the world is just really pretty crazy.
That's cool.
I think that's probably my favorite part, in addition to the community of people being supportive, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's got to be a great feeling for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, Brandon.
All right. Thoughts on oak moss? Is it used too much, or is it used not enough?
I'm a big fan. That's one of those that I'll put in most things just because I feel like it smooths things out so well that, yeah, it's probably right on my list with bergamot and cedar. Let's just throw a little bit of that in there, and we'll go with it.
All right.
My man. I love oak moss.
Yeah.
Love it. Any questions are asking the shirts. Are those available?
Yes, they are. Yep. And just another shout out to my graphic designer. He did these for me. He used to be literally was a graffiti artist, so he kind of brings a lot of that to a lot of the labels he makes. So.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Because it reminds me of going back to childhood. Because it not only graffiti, but it also reminds me of like the cool episodes of like the letters and stuff for Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah. Yep.
So
for sure.
that's kind of like where my brain goes. It's like they would do like those crazy animations and stuff for the letters and things for their lessons and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So also a dad, as you cannot tell.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let me catch up on here real fast. Make sure we're all caught up with people with any of their questions. And Melly Mel, he's hyping up, looking to see these brushes of yours. So calm down, Mel. Go to the Instagram, bud.
Yep.
So, all right, yeah. So, man, this has been awesome. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
For coming on. We greatly appreciate this time and putting
Yeah,
a face
it's been
to the
awesome.
product. And thank you, J Mac, and thank you, Brandon. You guys coming through tonight and for doing this. Awesome questions from the both of you. Brandon, oh my gosh, hitting it out the park, man. You're awesome. J Mac,
I love this community. This community is awesome. I love everything about it.
Darn right.
I'm going to bring it every time. I'm going to bring it.
That's right. And that you do, my friend. As you do also J Mac, the Don himself. It's always a pleasure sharing the airways with you, my brother.
Pleasure's all mine, brother. And Brandon and Kyle, thank you so much for being on this night. This was I hate to be so cliche, but this was so educational. It was incredible getting to know you and learn about your brand tonight. That's why we love doing these. Just like Angelo said, you put that face to the brand, and then it becomes so much more than just another soap name to the community, right? Then they're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I remember seeing that guy. I want to, I like his story. I want to check him out. So thanks so much for spending some time with us tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. This was a lot of fun. I've really resisted doing that. I talk to people all the time. I teach classes. I teach adults sometimes, but I've been nervous about doing Instagram and stuff for a long time. So I'm glad you guys talked me into doing this because it was a good time.
Excellent.
Well, you did awesome, man. You did beautifully. And like I always say to lots of the people that we have on here, we do a live shave every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. If you ever want to do it just to hang out, shave, and chat, you're more than welcome. We're always looking for people to come on. You can just reach out to me or to Jason. And if you want to put it on the roster, join for a shave and chat, we'd love to have you.
That sounds good.
So, yeah, for sure. You can show off one of those brushes. So
yeah, there we go.
That's right.
So, but yeah, thank you. So, appreciate everybody for coming out. And then, every Friday, 7:30 p.m., we interview the biggest names in wet shaving. So we're glad everybody came out. And also, if you're watching the replay on YouTube for the Razor Company, subscribe, comment, like, and all them kind of things. So, but yeah. So thanks a lot, everybody, for coming out. Thanks again for you guys, and we appreciate it. And we look to see you guys again pretty soon. So, yeah, everybody have a good night.
Enjoyed it. Peace.
See you guys.
Love him. Have a good night, guys.
See you later.